Never should have signed you. Ian Wright blasts Gyökeres after disappointing Arsenal performance. In football, few scenarios frustrate supporters more than a high-profile signing failing to live up to expectations. When the player in question arrives amid fanfare, with a reputation for scoring goals and delivering big moments, the disappointment cuts even deeper. Arsenal's summer recruit, Victor Gyökeres, finds himself at the center of precisely such a storm. Only weeks into his career at the Emirates, the Swedish striker has been the subject of sharp criticism from both supporters and club legends, most notably Ian Wright. Two pivotal matches, a North London derby against Tottenham Hotspur and a Champions League clash with Villarreal, have crystallized the unease surrounding his performances. The verdict from many corners of the Arsenal faithful is harsh but clear: Gyökeres is yet to justify the considerable investment the club made in him. The rocky start to life at the Emirates. When Arsenal secured Gyökeres' signature from Coventry City, there was genuine optimism. Supporters had watched his prolific season in the Championship, where he combined pace, strength, and clinical finishing to spearhead Coventry's push for promotion. Mikel Arteta's side had been accused of lacking depth in attacking areas, and Gyökeres was viewed as an injection of raw firepower. The adaptation period for Championship strikers moving into the Premier League is often challenging, but expectations were amplified by the transfer fee and the narrative that Gyökeres could be an immediate contributor. The Arsenal hierarchy made it clear, they were buying a forward not just for the future, but for now. His second appearance for the club, a tense and emotionally charged North London derby, was his first real test. Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal's fiercest rivals, hosted the clash, and the stakes could hardly have been higher. With the Gunners chasing points in the early stages of the league campaign, a positive result was essential for momentum. Yet Gyökeres struggled to find a foothold. Arsenal's midfield looked to feed him through balls and crosses, but his timing was off, and his movement failed to trouble Spurs' back line. When the final whistle blew on a 1-0 defeat, the cameras lingered on his expression, a mixture of frustration and bewilderment. Ian Wright, watching from the studio, was scathing. On live television, his exasperation boiled over: "Never should have signed you." While such blunt criticism may sound extreme for a player so early in his tenure, Wright's words resonated with the disappointed mood among supporters who had hoped for instant impact. Villarreal and the Champions League disappointment. If the Tottenham game was a warning sign, the Villarreal fixture in the Champions League served as a flashing red alert. In a dramatic group stage match, Arsenal fell 3-2 in Spain. While the defensive lapses were obvious, what caught attention was the absence of any cutting edge up front. Gyökeres had several opportunities, a half volley in the box, a header from 6 yards, but each moment fizzled out. His decision-making seemed hesitant, almost as if the magnitude of the stage weighed on him. This was not the ruthless finisher Arsenal believed they had purchased. Fans watching from home and in the away section began to draw comparisons with other Arsenal signings who never quite found their rhythm, a cautionary list that includes names like Park Chu-young, Marwan Chamakh, and even, in certain circles, Nicolas Pepe. For a club priding itself on smart recruitment in recent years, the optics were bad. The Manchester United backstory. Adding a layer of intrigue to the situation is the revelation that Gyökeres turned down a move to Manchester United before signing with Arsenal. United's manager, Ruben Amorim, who had previously coached Gyökeres at Sporting CP, was reportedly eager to reunite with the striker. Amorim believed he could replicate the environment in which Gyökeres had flourished in Portugal, where he combined strong link-up play with consistent goal-scoring. But Gyökeres opted for Arsenal, swayed by the promise of a central role in Arteta's project. At the time, the decision seemed reasonable. Arsenal were a Champions League club, coming off a strong domestic season, with a style of play seemingly well suited to his attributes. The twist is that Amorim's United side have since exceeded expectations, winning the Premier League Summer Series and showing signs of genuine title contention. In contrast, Arsenal's early season has been bumpy, and Gyökeres' form is under a harsh spotlight. Observers have begun to speculate whether he might be privately regretting the choice. Mounting pressure and tactical questions. The scrutiny is not solely on Gyökeres. Arsenal's recruitment team and Arteta's tactical decisions are also being questioned. Did the club properly evaluate whether his championship success would translate to the top tier? Is the current system playing to his strengths? Some tactical analysts have noted that Gyökeres excelled in teams that counter-attacked quickly, using his acceleration and physicality to exploit space behind defenses. At Arsenal, he is often tasked with operating against low defensive blocks, requiring more subtle off-the-ball movement and link play, areas where he has looked less comfortable. There is now a visible divide among supporters. Some argue he simply needs time to adapt, pointing to examples of strikers like Didier Drogba and Robert Lewandowski, who took several months before hitting their stride at new clubs. Others believe the risk of persisting is too great, especially with Champions League qualification on the line. Calls for him to be benched in favor of more experienced options are growing louder. Gyökeres' mental battle. Beyond the tactical debates, there is the psychological dimension. Strikers often live and die by confidence, and when goals dry up, the pressure becomes self-reinforcing. Every missed chance compounds the anxiety, and every public criticism, especially from club legends like Wright, deepens the scrutiny. For Gyökeres, the challenge is to block out the noise and rediscover the simplicity of his game: direct runs, aggressive pressing, and decisive finishing. Those close to him insist he remains committed and focused in training. Arteta has publicly defended him, urging patience and emphasizing his work ethic. But in the unforgiving environment of Premier League football, patience is a dwindling commodity. The road ahead. The coming fixtures will define Gyökeres' early Arsenal legacy. A home clash against a struggling mid-table side could offer the perfect platform to get off the mark and rebuild confidence. Yet if he continues to fire blanks, the transfer could quickly join the list of expensive missteps that haunt Arsenal's recent history. Football's narrative is rarely fixed in stone this early. A sudden burst of form could see Gyökeres rewriting his own story, turning from scapegoat to savior. But as things stand, the tone is one of skepticism, if not outright disappointment. For now, the words of Ian Wright linger in the air, a brutal reminder of football's unforgiving nature. In the eyes of many, the Swedish forward has much to prove before he can be considered a worthy heir to Arsenal's proud tradition of great strikers.